This is light work. Come on, spill the tea. Yeah. Ooh.
Hey y'all,
What's good?
I'm Laura.
And I'm Dee, and welcome to Spill the Tea with Laura and Dee.
What's our topic today?
I'm glad you asked. Our Candid Convo for today is the Great Insurance Squeeze in North Metro Atlanta.
All over.
Sure, yes.
All over. So I love this topic because I think this topic affects all homeowners. It's a huge problem right now in the real estate industry.
Right.
A lot of our first-time home buyers are really starting to be concerned when they purchase because what's going on is, one, insurance prices are going up.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing this a lot. But two, buyers are getting dropped right after closing. Oh, yeah. And homeowners are getting dropped right after renewal policies. Do you know why? And this is not what I was going to tell you.
Because the roof is too old?
Do you know what they're doing?
Uh-uh.
They're now using satellite to check your roof.
Well,
Right
we had a
after-
contractor do that, didn't we?
My roofer does it, yeah. When we need a
When we-
replacement
yeah,
roof, he can establish what needs to
It's like,
happen.
let's get an estimate. You know, this always takes forever. He was like, no, don't worry about it. It was like a satellite photo. It's like, this is your estimate. I was like, great.
Perfect. Until your insurance company does
Right.
it. So I was actually in a networking meeting yesterday, and the guy running it was with Philip Kahn, State Farm. But he was awesome. He had some great stuff that he was telling us, and we are seeing two major problems with the insurance right now. We're seeing the roofs, which is a big deal for anyone who owns a house, right? I mean, it's happened just once to my clients this year because we're pretty cognizant, right? So we are watching for the roofs. I'm buying a house. I'm in the middle of due diligence right now, and for my kids, and the first thing that we looked at was, how old's the roof? 9 years old. It's median, halfway through its life. So we should have 10 or so years on it. But I got a call from, at the very beginning of the year, from one of my girlfriends who had bought, and she goes, Laura, my insurance company just dropped me. And I was like, well, why did they drop you? It not only was the roof, it was the roof and the driveway with her.
The driveway?
Now, here's what I wanted to tell you that's going to make you go, holy fuck shit.
Oh, no. I'm
Right?
not ready.
Are you ready as to why your insurance company may drop you right after you buy a house if you have a bad driveway? Amazon. The number one lawsuit for insurance companies right now is Amazon
No!
drivers claiming that they're tripping over driveways that are cracked or steps and stairs that are uneven. So you know how when
Yes, thank you for coming to... I needed that.
But you know how when you come up to a house and sometimes the stairs up on the front
Yes.
are wonky, the house is okay, but the stairs are
Uh-huh.
moved? Oh, you'll get dropped by your insurance. Most Amazon claims right now, they are $20,000 or more. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so your insurance company, what they're going to do is when you go to
They
buy
don't
a
make
new
enough
house,
on products?
when you go, well, it's the drivers. It's not Amazon. It's the drivers. It's
Oh.
individual. Yeah. And so they will walk on your driveway. So something I learned, and this is totally not house related, but what my insurance guy was saying yesterday, he said that on your Amazon delivery instructions, you should have very clear instructions. So if you have steps on your front porch, your instructions should say, do not deliver on the front porch, deliver by the garage, where they don't have to go up the driveway. There was a realtor in the networking group, because yesterday was Bring a Friend, and me and her were the friends. It was me and her and one other person who was not in real estate. But we were kind of the three newbies in the group. She has a bad driveway, and she actually has a car that she puts over the part of the driveway that has been busted up from the tree.
Oh, to prevent people from
walking. Yep. So if you're buying a home right now, or if you own a home, in your inspection period, those are two things that are going to become very, very, very important.
Right.
Because you may get dropped on your insurance, and it's not always as easy as just calling another insurance company to find it.
No, it's not, because they all talk to each other, and they all talk to each other fast.
Correct. We have two insurance companies. And Tristan, a deer jumped into the side of his car this weekend. So on the side, it's awful.
Oh, you told me.
There's a big dent on the side of the car, and we're trying to
Right.
decide, do we want to run it through the insurance or not? And
Ain't that terrible that you have to sit there and make that decision? Do we want to pay for it ourselves?
Well, we
Do
probably-
we want to call them?
we probably are going to, because long term it's going to be cheaper to just pay for the door to be popped out ourselves.
Right.
But when you're buying a house, or if you own a house, these are things that you need to be aware of. I mean, a new driveway is $10,000, $15,000, $20,000.
Right.
A roof is in that same ballpark. So if you're buying a house that needs a new driveway or a new roof, you may be buying a house you can't get insurance on.
Right, until you fix them.
Yeah, and so the other day I was working with she's not a first-time home buyer, but she's kind of in that first-time home buyer price point.
Right.
And we ended up not buying a house because everything we found, she was worried about the roof. The roofs were older, and in her price point, we have a lot of investors that sell, so they put lipstick on a pig and whatever's. And but that was one of her major concerns was the roof, and her question to me was, well, don't sellers just replace the roof through insurance? Well, that's the problem. That's why we're in this problem. No, in the state of Georgia,
They're gonna drop you.
right, in the state of Georgia, it's not standard for a seller to make an insurance claim, and I guess in other states was what she was kind of referring to.
Interesting.
Was as a buyer, if you go up and you make an offer on a house that's old, you just put in your contract, hey, we want the seller to change the roof. The seller calls the roofer. The roofer then gets it run through the insurance for storm damage, and the buyer walks in with a brand new roof.
Wow.
So I'm interested to see how negotiations change.
In the areas where that's not.
Because it's not
not
normal.
customary here.
No, it's not customary.
I was like, wow, okay.
That's what I said. I was like, they do what? It's like, that's called insurance fraud, baby.
Right.
With my license ain't gonna be part of no insurance fraud.
Right.
Okay? If there really is hail damage, then obviously no problem.
Right.
And sometimes your roofer may get on your house during your inspection and say, hey, listen, the roof has hail damage. Then at that point, it's not insurance fraud, and you can do it. But I was like, no, we can't ask them to do that, so we didn't. And she ended up not buying a house because of it.
Right.
But it's a real problem. I mean, it's a real problem, and it affects everybody because unfortunately, it's not just new homes that are or new buys that's being affected. It's you and Lexi, me and Craig. We can have our insurance company run that satellite and
Exactly.
drop us.
Exactly.
So
And you're right. Right. And I wonder how that affects HOA as well. Right. Because, they have like their larger insurance policies.
It'll depend. So it'll depend, in my opinion, on whether the HOA is responsible for the roof.
Right.
And this is a whole nother topic, but there's HOA issues, right? And one of the issues right now is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac not having HOAs up to their standards. And if the HOA is not up to the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac standards, then that means you can't get a loan on it, which means those sellers are only looking for cash buyers. So if the HOA is responsible for the roof and the insurance companies start seeing it and start dropping their homeowners, it's going to add another layer.
You ever watch Shrek? It's like a damn onion.
Yes, and it makes me cry. For
Oh
sure.
my goodness! Because to your point, in that price point, especially the first time home buyer price point, you have the flippers, and it's just like honestly, right now, flipping doesn't really make sense, right? Unless you you just have for whatever reason extra cash and you gotta put it somewhere. It's like, oh, okay, fine, buy the house. Yeah, it'll sell for a little bit more, but
Yeah, flipping is tough right now.
yeah, because it's like a lot of that's done with financing, and like financing is like a toxic waste hole right now.
Oh, it's awful. It's so
Right,
expensive.
it's like
so expensive.
you close, and it's like 3 months later, there's my profit.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see how it all kind of pans out. I think it just goes back to a seller needs to be realistic in what they are selling, right? And nobody likes change. The top 3 fears are death, change, and public speaking. Nobody likes change, and nobody likes change when it affects their pocketbook. And the new perspective on the market is
it's affecting the
it's
pocketbook.
going to affect their pocketbook.
It just is.
Correct, Mr. Seller.
That's the market condition.
If you're selling a house that needs a new roof and your neighbor got $350,
You ain't getting
you're not getting
$350.
$325, right? Because you need a new roof. Like that is a reality. Mr. Seller, when you are a buyer, do you want to pay $350 for a house that needs a new roof tomorrow?
Hell no.
Right. And
So why would someone else?
Well, most sellers don't. Most sellers want to sell in a seller's market and buy in a buyer's market. And they want them both to be the reality of the market when they're in it, right?
Right.
And so it's a conversation that's going to start needing to be had because there's a need for buyers to have some flexibility and the ability to fix or repair or replace the roof.
Right. Are there any like unrepresented buyers still trying to buy through like I know for a while people would buy through Redfin, and it'd be like there'd be like one realtor or something, and they'd be like, oh, I saved on commission, because I almost feel like you can't in this market. Like you can't necessarily get away with that because it's.
So you still have the open doors of the world. I don't know if Redfin's buying right now if they're just agents.
Right.
They probably have a buying program. Most of those big Mark Spain, Open Door,
They're trying to
Redfin,
find buyers before they get to like
have,
agents.
They have a buying program, and so they buy the house and then they sell the house. And the objective for them is to sell the house without a buyer's agent. And a lot of those programs make it very easy for you as an unrepresented buyer
Got it.
to come into the home, right? They have the home on the lock boxes that just, they can give you a code, they can open. They have an offer submission checklist on their, or an offer submission form on
Right,
their
it's
website.
very systematic, huh?
Correct. You just
Yeah.
go in, here's my offer. You don't even have to upload documents
Right.
if you don't want to upload documents. So you very well can go in, and that is still very much a thing. Is it going to become a popular thing?
I don't think it can, because it's like, as an unrepresented buyer, like, maybe I'm different because I've seen so many houses and I've bought so many houses, or just been so many transactions involved.
Right.
But it's like going into a house, it's like, how do you know to look for how old the roof is? How do you know to look for each of the mechanicals and figure out what the age is? How do you figure out that the HOA is actually set up appropriately if there is one? It's like there are so many things you look for on like an initial walkthrough that it's just like an unrepresented buyer. I'm like, good luck.
You just look at the house and say it's pretty, right?
Right.
I think that more importantly over, a listing agent we're used because we take you to the FMLS, right?
Right.
That's our biggest thing that we give a seller, in my opinion, is we have access to the biggest buyer pool out there.
Right.
And if you hire a good agent, they're not only going to have access to the biggest buyer pool, to the biggest pond out there,
Right.
because Zillow and Opendoor and not Opendoor, Homes and Realtor, they will post for sale by owners. They don't push for sale by owners. Okay, so they're not, your for sale by owner is not getting brought to the top of Zillow because you as an agent are not paying, as a seller are not paying Zillow. They don't give a shit about your sale.
Right. Right.
Okay?
Right.
They can't get any money off of you for the most part.
You're looking for somebody that's looking for a deal at that
Correct.
point.
And so, as a buyer, I would not go into a deal right now unrepresented. Sellers are still
Agreed.
paying buyers agents compensation. Even if they're not paying the whole thing, let's say they're paying 2.5%, not the full 3%, and you as the buyer on the hook to pay that 0.5%. I promise you, I'm going to save you more than 0.5%.
Right.
Like I promise you, I'm going to save you more than 0.5%. And sellers are really stupid. Okay, if you go in and you say, "Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm not going to have you pay my buyer's agent, but you negotiate enough cash for yourself at closing to pay the buyer's agent," like who cares what the line item says? And I trained an agent on this the other day. She was making an offer to Opendoor or to Jar House or to one of those big ones,
Right,
right?
right.
That they only pay 2.5%. So I told her, I said, "How much money does your buyer want for closing?" She told me. I said, "How much is your compensation?" She told me. I said, "Do you want your whole compensation?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Don't ask for compensation. Ask for all of it back in a buyer's agent or in a closing cost for the buyer." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Watch. They will say yes to closing costs for a buyer and no to your compensation, even if the bottom line is exactly the fucking same for them. Because they have a system, and they have a system that has to be followed. Right? They
Oh,
can't think
that's
outside of that
wild.
system.
They
And
can't
so
think outside the box.
they're not allowed because it's systematized.
Right.
The person in charge doesn't see anything, and so
Right.
this eliminates mistakes.
Right.
Right? Their system
Of course,
eliminates.
it's exercising control to
Correct. So,
manage your profits.
so hiring a buyer's agent allows you, one, to get the seller to still pay for them, just be creative, and two, it allows you to have protection. That buyer's agent's going to help you find a good inspector. That inspector's going to help you figure out if the roof is old. They're going to help you look at the driveway and say, "Hey, listen, this driveway is really a big deal. Like,
Right.
insurance may drop you because of this. The house that my boys are buying, not a bad roof, but it's a one-car driveway, so we're going to stack all the cars up and, listen,
Right.
don't park someone right here."
Right.
And it's not cracked. It's just like the top is peeling off, so it's just weird. So it's
I
kind of that
see.
weird
So like technically it probably needs or could use,
resurfacing,
right,
but not a whole new driveway.
right.
Um,
Back in the day, they'd be like,
who cares?
right,
Right. But now
it's a good ass house.
correct. Now they're going to look at it some. And so having me on their side when we went over the inspection report, one, there were some things on there. They were like, "Oh, that's kind of scary." And I'm like, "Who cares? That's not scary." And two, I'm able to go in and negotiate with the selling agent repairs and money that makes sense for us to move forward with this house. I'm not saying
Right.
don't buy a house with a bad driveway or a
Right.
bad roof.
Just understand what you're getting into
Understand
and
what you're
know
getting into
what you
and
can
make
get
sure
out of it. Right.
Correct. Make
Don't
sure you understand your
don't get
business.
duped.
I love
Do people
that.
say that anymore?
Don't get duped. Yes.
Do you know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for question quickies.
Okay.
So, why did my mortgage payment suddenly go up when my rate didn't change?
Good question. So, there are two things that go into that. It is your taxes and or your insurance. Insurance is a big one. Taxes are also
Is
a big
also
one.
a big one. Yep.
Correct.
Sometimes counties will all of a sudden be like, "We're here," and next thing you know, your property tax went from like $2,000 to $5,000, and you're like, "Whoa, wait a
Correct.
minute."
Correct. So there's a few things that can go into this. One thing that I think you need to be very cognizant of, if you move a home from your name into a trust, you have to refile homestead.
Yep, you can't do homestead.
You can, but you have to
You-
refile because there's a new
you change
entity.
it. It's a new owner.
It's a new entity, and you don't realize it until year 2. So if you file for if you put your house in a trust in June of 2025, because you own the house in January of 2025, and your homestead was in place, whatever's in place January 1st is what the taxes are run off of for that year. So if you are buying a house that has homestead, if you're buying a house that has a credit because somebody's over the age of 65 or whatever the school tax is in that county.
Oh yeah, you got to keep that in mind when you go to like assess that, because now the tax is going to change because the owner has changed.
Yep, you're going to pay like from July to December.
Oof, can't imagine not having a realtor buying a damn house.
It's crazy, right? Like people do it all the time, but it's crazy. We're here to help. We're not here to cost you money. We're here to save you money long term. And most people see very short sighted. They don't look 5 steps ahead of, okay, if I do this without somebody. So that's kind of rule number one, which doesn't affect a lot of people because most people don't do a trust. However, when you buy a house and the person has a tax credit because they're 65 or older and they're only paying
now you're getting
$1,000 for taxes for the year, that means your tax liability for that year is $500.
Right.
But when you go to file for homestead the following year, it maybe won't be $5,000, maybe it's $4,000 or $3,500 because but if you don't file for homestead, you go from $1,000 up to $5,000. And ain't nobody coming to check you out and tell you that. Nobody's coming. Nobody cares.
It's just coming in the mail. It's like, hey, by the way, this is your tax now.
They are going to charge you as much as they can. You have to know the tax laws. So that's kind of one of the things that we see is a discrepancy in the taxes based on previous ownership.
Right.
2, a buyer forgets to file homestead. We remind all of our buyers in January and February. We are calling you. We are sending you an email. We are sending you.
Did you file your homestead?
Yes. And then the insurance, number 3, right? You get insurance. The insurance company doesn't come out. They just run their satellites. Everything looks good. Or maybe they don't come out in the first year, but when it's time for renewal, then at that point they look at their
happens. Like organizations make mistakes.
Well, and I think
sometimes.
checking the satellite is going to become an annual.
Oh, absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
Just like,
before, I don't know how often they checked.
They didn't. They
Plus,
had to drive by.
yeah, exactly. Like they could only drive by. It's like I look at it, it looks fine right now, right? But maybe this is the 10th year I've come out here. I don't know how old it was, but now it's halfway through at least.
Correct. And it was up to I'm pretty sure it was up to the person that sold, like the broker, right? The person that was selling the insurance. It's not like Allstate sent out, hey, Mr. Allstate person, we have 10 houses in this neighborhood with Allstate. You, as an Allstate representative, go check. It was on.
It's the individual brokers,
the broker.
whoever wrote the policies.
Correct. And they didn't have time, but now they have satellite.
Right. What does replacement costs even mean, and why did mine go up so much? So
I don't know what they're asking.
Yeah, so replacement costs, I don't know if you've noticed, but like when you read like those insurance premium documents.
No, I don't read that. That's a great job.
Yeah, Craig knows exactly what it is, but it's like in there they kind of talk about like in the event of like an insurance claim, how do they actually go about calculating? And they calculate usually based off of what they call replacement cost. And that's why they have the assessor to come out to like look at the damage. And then they also tell you, well, this is what we're going to do, yada, 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 right? But what they're really coming out there to do is just assess the actual property. It's very similar to like what CPAs and engineers will do for like cost segregation studies. But they'll assess what are the actual materials that build the full building or infrastructure or whatever it is you're assessing. What are those costs at today's market? Then how old is it, what's the condition of it and how old is it? And then you take those calculations and kind of dial back.
So that's where the depreciation comes in.
Yeah, you're kind of accounting for the depreciation, right? So that's kind of how you're coming in and like looking at that. So that's what the replacement cost is. But because
what is the replacement cost used for? Is that to
that's,
rebuild, or
that's,
is that to set?
It helps the insurance company determine what size of a check to give you, basically.
Oh, for if you have
for claims. Correct. The cost of things. Like the replacement costs will go up based on inflation, right? Because the cost of things are going up. Right. So a lot of the times that's why a replacement cost will go up to answer that question. But then you also in some cases see them go, you don't often see them go down. We don't go through deflation very often. I think we've only gone through that once or twice maybe.
Very cool, very cool. I hate insurance. It's such a racket. Medical, home, car.
Yes.
I mean, you have to have it, but it's such a racket.
Right.
Do you have any other questions?
No, that about wraps us up for today's episode. So as always, if you enjoyed this or if you found this helpful or entertaining, hit the heart and send to a friend. And if you have a question for a realtor or a real estate professional, drop a note below and we will get to it in an upcoming video.
This is light work.